Alright guys, welcome back, and today I'm gonna make butter. Now, I've been trying to learn skills that I could hopefully put to use someday on my own homestead, and processing dairy is one of those skills. I already knew how to make butter, but I'd never tried making it from raw milk before. So let's just go through the process of how I did that. Now, if you are starting from raw milk, you're gonna wanna get a clear container, something like this or even that. And you're gonna wanna make sure that it's sterile, or at least like very clean, because raw milk has a tendency to grow bacteria a lot faster and easier than pasteurized milk. You're also gonna wanna make sure that you've got a big enough gap on the top that to stick some sort of scoop or ladle into. This will make the skimming process a lot more simple, trust me. Now, once you've got your containers, you're gonna dump your milk into the containers and you're gonna refrigerate it for like a day or two. And you're gonna see that cream start to separate in a layer on the top of the milk. Once you see that, you can go ahead and pull it out of the fridge and get like a measuring cup or a ladle or like a big spoon of some sort. You start scooping the cream off of the top of that into a container. And all you have to do is dip it in there with the lip just below the surface. You'll be able to see any milk coming into the scoop pretty easily. If you get a little bit of milk in there, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just move on to the next step. Now, the next step is going to be to agitate your cream. So when it comes to agitating your cream, there are a bunch of ways to do it. They even have a butter churning machine that'll do a bunch of milk at a time. That's if you have a cow. If you got a cow, you're probably not watching this. The more common methods for like someone like me, I guess, is in a bowl with a hand mixer or even a whisk. A lot of people do it with like a stand mixer. Some people like to do it in a jar. If you're doing it in a jar, or even if you're doing it with like a hand mixer in a bowl, you'll save yourself a huge headache by letting your cream warm up to like 63 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. The cream will just churn a lot faster if you do that first. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. In the jar method, you'll shake it and you'll shake it. It could take 10 minutes, it could take 40 minutes. But what you'll end up with is a ball of butter inside your jar, because that butter will go around and it'll gather itself, and then you can pretty easily pour the buttermilk off into a separate container. If you're doing it in a blender or what is this thing? A food processor. If you're doing it in a blender or a food processor, what you're gonna do is just dump your cream in there and turn it on, and you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna see it go through the steps. First it'll turn into whipped cream, then it'll turn into like a really thick yellow whipped cream, and then it'll start looking a little bit chunky, and finally the sides will start cleaning themselves off, and you'll see chunks of butter separated from the buttermilk. Once you see the sides cleaning off and you can see the two separate pieces, the butter and the buttermilk, then your butter is done churning, and all you gotta do is dump it in a bowl, and you're going to gather the butter together with a spatula or a spoon or whatever you got, and you're going to strain the buttermilk off into a separate container to make your pancakes for dinner or breakfast or lunch or all three. Depends on how much butter you're making and what you feel like eating. Once you've done that, you need to wash your butter. So this is the most important step. If you don't do this, then you're gonna ruin your butter like overnight. The buttermilk will go in there and it'll go sour and it'll be disgusting, and it'll be a huge waste of your time. So make sure that you wash your butter. How you're gonna do this is you're gonna put it into a bowl like this, and you're gonna fill the bowl full of cold water, and you're gonna knead the butter in a bowl of cold water until that water turns milky. Once it's milky, you dump the water off and fill it up again with cold water, and you're gonna repeat that process until you stop seeing that water turn milky. Once it stops turning milky, you're done. You can dump the water off and you can pat the butter dry with a paper towel or whatever you feel like using, and then you're gonna start kneading some salt in. You're gonna knead that salt in with like a spoon or spatula, just like you were doing it in the water, till it tastes the way that you want it to taste. And once that's done, you're all done. You've got butter. Like, subscribe, and share my video, and let me know what your thoughts are and how this turned out for you.